Is my screen visible and voice audible, Mataji? Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. How many participants are there? Only one,
Yes,
apart from
Prabhuji.
you and me.
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, your screen is not fully visible.
Okay, now it is visible.
Now it is fully visible.
This is the song. বড় কৃপা কইলে কৃষ্ণ অধমেরা প্রতি কি লাগিয়া নিলে হেতা করো এবে গতি আছে কিছু কর্য তব এই অনুমানে নাহে কেন নিবে ন এই উগ্র স্থানে রজস্তম গুণেরা সবাই আছন বাসুদেব কোথা রুচি নহে সে প্রসন্ন তবে যদি তব কৃপা হয়ে ও হেতুকি সকলি সম্ভব হয়ে তুমি সে কৌতুকী কিভাবে বুঝালে তারা বুঝে সেই রস এত কৃপা করো প্রভু করি নিজ বাস তোমার ইচ্ছায় সব হয়ে মায়া বস তোমার ইচ্ছায় নাশ মায়ার পরশ তব ইচ্ছা হয়ে যদি তাদের উদ্ধার বুঝিবে নিশ্চয়ই তবে কোথা সে তোমার ভগবতার কথা সে তব অবতার ধীর হইয়া শুনে যদি কানে বার বার কি রে বুঝাবো কোথা বড় সেই চাহি ক্ষুদ্র আমি দিনহীন কোনো শক্তি নাহি অথচ এনেছ প্রভু কথা বলিবারে যে তোমার ইচ্ছা প্রভু করো এইবারে অখিল জগত গুরু বচন সে আমার অলঙ্কৃত করিবার ক্ষমতা তোমার তব কৃপা হইলে মোর কথা শুধ হবে শুনিয়া সবর শোক দুঃখ ন বুঝিবে অনি আনিয়াছ যদি প্রভু আমারে না চাতে না চাও না চাও প্রভু না চাও না চাও সে মতে কাস্থের পুটলি যথা না চাও সে মতে ভক্তি নাই বেদ নাই নামে খুব দর ভক্তি বেদান্ত নাম এবে সার্থক কর This is the beautiful song written in poem written by Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami in the uh, while he was in the sheep, and the meaning is also so beautiful. I'm not going reading everything, but at least some. My dear Lord Krishna, you are so kind upon this useless soul, but I do not know why you have brought me here. Now you can do whatever you like with me. But I guess you have some business here. Otherwise, why would you bring me to this terrible place? And some more we can read. The words of Srimad Bhagavatam are your incarnation, and if a sober person repeatedly receives it with submissive oral reception, then he will be able to understand your message. And last, I have no devotion, nor do I have any knowledge, but I have strong faith in the holy name of Krishna. I have been designated as Bhakti Vedanta, and now, if you like, you can fulfill the real purport of Bhakti Vedanta. And then 15, he's saying, "Oh Lord, I am just like a puppet in your hands. And if you have brought me here to dance, nachate nachate, then make me dance. Oh Lord, make me dance." Prabhupada is saying this. And this chapter 9, will be delving on today. ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुर्मिलितमेन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यो एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमो। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमति भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। So welcome to chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge, Raja Vidya Raja Viham. That is the name of the chapter. So what we learned in, so humble obeisance to Radha and Govinda, and what we learned in chapter 8, let's see. So 1 to 8, 4, Krishna's answers to Arjuna's questions. 5 to 8 is remembering Krishna at the time of death. So, various people, how they remember. And then 9 to 13, remembering Krishna, practice remembrance throughout meditation, Ashtanga Yoga, and all that was there. Then 14 to 16, pure devotional service, remembrance of Krishna through bhakti. And 17 to 22, comparing the material and spiritual worlds, glories of supreme abode. So, what is material world? It is impermanent, old, death, birth, disease, and everything is there. That is the permanent, always blissful, Tadhamam Paramam Mama, and the supremacy of devotional in attaining the supreme. So now uh, Krishna had declared that the, the best of the yogis is the Bhakta yogi. Because in the last chapter, he talked about the, the qualities of the Ananya Bhakta, what he should be. And also he talked about that Ananya Bhakta doesn't require any time to leave his body, like neither in the light nor in the darkness. Others prefer to go in light or in darkness. However, for devotee, there is no such time, particularly Ananya Bhaktas. Now, in this chapter, in chapter 9, Krishna will talk about how to become an Ananya Bhakta. So, Ananya Bhakti. In chapter 8, Krishna has explained that an Ananya devotee surpasses the path of light and darkness. Now, Krishna will explain how to become such a devotee. So, how to become such a devotee? That is supremacy of bhakti. Chapter 8 includes that bhakti is the best form of yoga. Chapter 9 supplies the specific knowledge required for performing that most confidential knowledge. We'll talk about that why it is most confidential. So, what is confidential? What is more confidential? And what is most confidential? All these three we'll discuss. So, what is the connection between 7 and 9? Mostly these are connected because in 7, it is all about Krishna's various energies. And then chapter 7 and 9 are virtually identical. Chapter 8 can be seen as a tangent in the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna, clearing up some important points before continuing on to the chapter 9. This is the chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge. So, the knowledge starts from Shravanam. So, all the Shastras are in Shruti. Of course, later on it is also in Smriti. Something which is written is Smriti, something which comes through oral reception is Shruti. But first, absolute first devotional service is Shravanam. Then Kirtanam, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Pada Sevanam, Dasyam, Shakhyam. Atma Nivedanam. This is the Navada Bhakti. And hearing about Krishna qualification and disqualification explained, what is the qualification of being an Ananya Bhakta? That is also will be discussed. Let us also, we can tell that now. In fact, what are the two important qualities of become an Ananya Bhakta? One is Shraddha. That
Anasuya
is
Bhava.
Hare Krishna.
Anasuya
Anas,
Bhava.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Thank you, thank
Krishna.
you. Anasuya. So what is Anasuya? Anasuya is
No envy.
non-enviousness.
Mm.
Hare Krishna. And the next is Shraddha. And Shraddha is faith. Then we'll talk about the Aishwarya Jnana, Krishna's Achinta Bheda, Abheda relationship with the material world. This is the most beautiful concept and the right concept which Sri Chaitanya has given. That is, neither it is Achinta Bheda Abheda. So it is duality as well as it is Dvaita as well as Advaita. So non-worshippers and worshippers. We also, in the last chapter, we talked about people who surrender to Krishna, who do not surrender to Krishna. So naturally, who surrender to Krishna will worship, who do not surrender to Krishna will not worship. And who are those who surrender to Krishna? There are four people who surrender to Krishna: Artha, Artharthi,
अर्थात ज्ञानी
Gyan, and Artha, Artharthi,
जिज्ञासु
Jigyasu,
जिज्ञासु
and Gyan. Great, great. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna is the supreme object of worship. Bhaktaram yajna tapasam, sarva loka maheswaram. The glories of directly worshipping Krishna. How we can worship Krishna directly. In fact, this chapter starts with that it is the susukham. It is very easy. It gives a lot of happiness. So let's delve into the chapter now. Chapter 9 sections. There are 5 sections. So we'll cover half of this today. There are 34, so we can stop at 17. So that means A, B, C, and maybe some two verses of D. So most important is hearing Shravanam about Krishna and qualification and disqualifications. And 4 to 10, Aishwarya Jnana, Krishna's Achinta Bheda Abheda relationship with material world. That is, he creates, he maintains, he annihilates, he does everything. He is in everything, but he's not in everything. So that is what is the Aishwarya Jnana will have. The non-worshippers and worshippers, how do they do? Bhakti. And Krishna is the supreme object of worship from 16 to 25. 26 to 34, the glory is directly of worshipping Krishna. So primarily, Ananya Bhakti, because this section, if you look at particularly chapter 9 and 10, let us understand one thing, that Gita is the essence of all Vedic scripture. And Bhakti is the essence of Gita, which is just put in the middle. And 9 and 10, particularly this chapter, 9 and 10, are the just in the middle. There are 18 chapters, 9 is just at the middle. So it is the essence of the essence of the essence. And when we talk about hearing, means we should also able to glorify Krishna. So how to glorify Krishna? That's the first thing which is required for an Ananya Bhakta, who is constantly satato kirtoyanto mam yatantascha dhrida prataha. So hearing about Krishna, qualification and disqualification, non-enviousness, as Mataji was saying, it is the anasuya or no asuya. Shuya is basically enviousness. So whoever is not envious and who has got faith, he is or she is has the qualification to have the confidential knowledge about Krishna. And faithlessness forces one to this birth and death cycle. So two things are required. Once again, Shraddha and Anasuya. And both are with Arjuna, and therefore Arjuna is getting the first reception of Gita. So idantu te guihatamam prabhakshami anasuyave jnanam vijnanam sahitam yat gyatva mokshase subhat. Supreme Lord, my dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, Anasuya, I shall impart to you this most secret wisdom, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of the material existence. So, because he's saying that Arjuna, because you are not envious of me, Anasuya way, he's saying. Anasuya way is the most important word. In fact, Prabhupada says in this purport that there are great scholars who, who give commentaries on Krishna, but they are envious of Krishna. So, automatically their commentaries are become basically something which any devotee should not read. So Gita can be learned and understood and can be revealed only if it is written by a Ananya Bhakta. Others through mental speculations who have some asuya bhava is basically enviousness, then their entire explanation, narration, their purport, everything will get mixed up and concocted. So therefore, Prabhupada and all our acharyas warn us that Mayavadis, these versions, please be careful. Do not go there because once you go there, then you will fall down. And second point is yat kyatva mokshose asubhat. So after knowing this, you shall be relieved from the miseries of the material existence. And what is the miseries of the material existence? Birth, death, old age, and disease. That means it will not go to the cycle. Now, this is what Mayavadis and others do not believe. That is it so easy? Is it really? Just by knowing Krishna, you will go back to Krishna. What Krishna says, in fact, he says this simple ways, like what he says that Janma Karmacha Me Divyam Yo Vyakti Matattvatah Janma Karmacha Me Divyam Yo Me Vyakti Tattvatah. So, this is the secret. And why it is secret also let us talk and discuss. Lord Krishna imparts most confidence and knowledge and realization to Arjuna. Why? He has given this secret knowledge or confidence and knowledge, not the most, but the first confidence and knowledge in which chapter? Hare Krishna. Which chapter he has given the first confidence and knowledge? In the second chapter. And what is that? I am not the body, or we are not the body, we are the spirit soul. That is the first secret or confidential knowledge that he has given in chapter 2. Knowledge of the spirit, soul, and body, useful for liberation. Then comes chapter 7, where he gives the more confidential level, little more. And that is about the knowledge which brings about enlightenment about Krishna consciousness, Supreme Lord, his energy. So we learned about his external energy, internal energy, inferior energy, superior energy, marginal energy, and all that we learned. And now in chapter 9, the most confidential knowledge, because it deals with pure, unalloyed devotion, Ananya Bhakti, and delineates the glories of the Lord. So, and this is the qualification. The qualification is Anasuya and Shraddha.
That's
So, useless commentary of high academic scholars gives inaccurate commentaries. So, once again, I repeat, confidential knowledge in chapter 2 and chapter 3, that is, I am not the body, I am the spirit soul. That is the first secret knowledge. Because why it is secret? Because by this we get liberation. So getting liberation definitely is a secret. Then second important, I mean more confidential is Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, which is his energy. So 7 and 8, and then most confidential this one, that this chapter, how to go back to him. We must glorify him. So, text 1, Lord Krishna imparts most confidential knowledge and realization to Arjuna. Most confidential knowledge. What is the qualification to receive? Anasuya way, free from envy. And it is called Raja Vidya and Raja Guiham Pavitram Idam Uttamam. Raja Vidya Raja Guiham Pavitram Idam Uttamam. So, Raja Vidya is the king of knowledge, and Raja Guiham is the king of secret. And why it is secret? We have already discussed. And what is the means to receive it? proper hearing, Shravanam. And what are the benefits? Relief from miseries of material existence. That is Janma Mritu Jara and Vyadhi. Raja Vidya, the king of education, and Raja Guhyam is the most secret. So, as we know, the Shravanam is the first and foremost of the devotional service of Navada Bhakti. So, first is so Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Archanam, Bandhanam, Pada Sevanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atma, Nivedanam. And we have the devotees who have just taken up only one devotional service and then got liberated and had the opportunity to reach Krishna. So Shravanam, we can take Maharaj Parikshit, who was listening for 7 days from Sukha Maharaj. Then we can say Kirtana, because Sukamani was saying, so he was glorifying Krishna through Bhagavatam. So he's the example of best Kirtanam. Smaranam, no one but Prahlad Maharaj, always remembering Krishna. And And then Padasevanam, of course, Lakshmi Devi, Archanam Maharaja Pruthu, Vandanam Akrura. Uh, there are beautiful prayers in Bhagavatam of Akrura. And Dasyam, no one but Hanuman. And Sakhyam Arjuna. And Maharaj Bali is Atmanivedanam. So these are the various processes through which we can reach Krishna. This is the process of devotional service. So, Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Praksha Avagamam Dharmam Susukham Kartum Abhyayam. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest of knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting and it is joyfully performed. So many things. Rajavidya Rajaguhyam we've understood because it is the king of knowledge. It is the most confidential because it talks about the Ananya Bhakta and uh, and how to glorify Krishna. It is Pavitram. Why it is the most pure? Because it is said by Krishna. What Arjuna declares, Arjuna declares what Arjuna says after you know seeing the Virata Rupa, the Vishwarupa. He says, what does he say? Param Brahma Paramam Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Pavitram. So he is the purest. Now he is talking about this. So this is the purest. Then Pratyaksha Apagamam. It can be directly experienced. So people who are in devotional service, all the devotees who are chanting, hearing, reading scriptures, having devotee association, all this who are doing, they have a direct perception. They have the kind of happiness and bliss which they can experience directly. And it is, of course, the most religious activity, and it gives a lot of sukham, and it is eternal thing. It is abhyam. So, further glorification of most confidence knowledge. It is Rajavidya, king of all knowledge, because it is the essence of all doctrines and philosophies. So, therefore, it is the king of knowledge, and it's also the most confidential. This talks about the eternal activities of the soul and thus gives positive information. Now, this is important. Further glorification of the most confidential knowledge. So let us understand the purifying potency of devotional service is very strong because in other Ashtanga yogas and other karma yoga, jnana yoga, or dhyana yoga, etc., the purification process might take first of all a lot of time, and which stage one might also deviate from. Let's say starting with you know what is that pranayama, dhyana dharana samadhi, yama niyama, and all that. But here, just by chanting, the heart gets purified just by chanting. Because pavitram idam uttamam. And the stages of reaction. So what happens, how, in fact, Prabhupada says that everyone of us, everyone, he includes himself also, although he is absolute pure devotee, but he says that everyone is a sinner. Otherwise, why we are in this planet? Why we are on earth? We should have been in Golok Dham. So naturally we are sinner. Maybe we are not doing sin. Maybe we are not doing sin in this life, but we might have done so many sins in our previous life. So therefore, we are born in this, you know, aswasatam, dukhalayam. Why we are born? So most important is this on the right hand side. There is a beautiful explanation of part which is there in Nectar of Devotion or NOD. If this is understood, then 80% of the Nectar of Devotion is understood. So how a sinful reaction or how a sin is occurred, first of all. And if the sin is occurred, then how to also cleanse that sin. That is, that is of course through this process. But let us now understand the process in which the sin happens. The first step is avidya or ignorance, which leads to, because of the avidya, the bija or the seed is sown. The seed is created because of sinful desires. Now there are two possibilities. Once the bija is created, that is coming from the sinful desire. So example can be, let's say, robber. A robber who wants to rob a bank, he or she doesn't know that this is wrong. He's still thinking that this is okay. This is okay to do it, because if he's so convinced, or he's so convinced, then he would not have done it. If he's doing means he's still thinking that it can be done. So it is called ignorance. So what will happen with this sinful desire that I want to rob a bank? He's not robbed yet. He's just thinking that yes, I want to rob the bank. Now this sinful desire is there in his heart. Paramatma is watching and witnessing this. Now what is happening? Next stage. Two possibilities. One is that he robs the bank. So Papa has happened now. If Papa has happened, then he may be caught and he may not be caught. If he's not caught, then we can say the stage is aprarabdha, unmanifest reaction, because the reaction has not come. But it will come. Maybe next time, or you know, maybe third time he will get caught. Then when he gets caught, that is called a prarabdha or manifest reaction. So many of our prarabdhas which are coming, we're suffering. Whatever we're suffering is due to our own sins, which has happened in some past deeds, which we did in our previous births, and those we are suffering now as prarabdha. Like the robber is, going to jail after getting caught. Maybe 2-3 times he escaped because that was at a aprarabdha stage. But 100% of the aprarabdha will convert to prarabdha, but dispensation will happen slowly. Now, what happens? Let's say the desire happens, however, he has not robbed the bank. So it stays in the heart as kutam or sinful disposition. That means it is just waiting to manifest. The moment a right moment comes or a right opportunity comes, then he will definitely go and rob the bank. Now it stays as a kutam. So first is bijam. It can straight away lead to papam, or it can remain as kutam. Then after that, of course, the prarabdha is nothing but suffering. This is what the whole stage of sinful reaction. So what is the solution now? Now one question is coming. At what stage we should cut it? Because there are so many stages. Avidya, Vija, Papam, Kutam. What stage we should cut? Ideally, Hare Krishna. Anyone? I don't know how many are there. Hare Krishna.
It's by chanting Krishna Smaranam, by
No,
chanting
that
Hare Krishna.
by chanting Hare Krishna is the way, but this from avidya to suffering, before suffering, let's say from avidya to which stage you should cut it so that it doesn't go to bija stage or papam stage or kutam stage, etc. We should cut
Not
at avidya stage,
thinking.
no?
Yes. By
So we
not
should cut.
thinking it. Yeah.
We should cut it at avidya stage, means ignorance stage. And what is and how to do that is what you are saying. That we can get out of this ignorance only through
Hare Krishna Japa.
this process. Yes. So
Nabada Vidya.
yes. So purifying process. So sinful reaction has four stages that we've seen. Four stages: bija, parada, putam, and prarabdham. Then pavitram implies all the four stages can be purified. That means any stage can be purified. It is not that you have done a sin, so it cannot be purified. Or if it stays in bija, it cannot be purified. Whichever stage you are in, you can purify it.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, you are muted.
No, in between the connection was lost. Is it so?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So we have to do again. Just share. We have to share again. Okay, fine. I don't know how the connection has gone. No problem. Is the screen visible now? Full screen?
Yes,
Yes,
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so this is what it is. So we can purify at any stage. And why are we chanting? To purify ourselves. And each mantra that we are chanting, each mantra actually crushing the scene. So therefore, staying in Krishna consciousness, staying, let's say level one, level two, level three, coming to Krishna consciousness is easy, but staying is not easy. We see so many people who come and again go. So if you're staying for more than 1 year, definitely you are fortunate, or we are all fortunate. I don't know what happened. This slide is not. Yeah. Okay. So further qualification of most confidence knowledge, pratyaksha avagamam. That is direct perception of self-realization. Pratyaksha is direct, avagamam is realization. So how to get direct perception of the self? By practicing devotional service in the association of advanced devotees. Association is not simple. It's a very, very powerful in devotional service. We cannot advance in devotional service without devotee association. Any temple is gone, or even other temples, any temple where there are hundreds of programs going on, some or other celebration, people do not come for the celebration. They primarily come for devotee association. In the level one, we talked about so many devotees like Narada Muni. He was a son of a maid servant. His mother was a maid servant in the ashram where all the pandits, great gyanis and brahmanas and rishis were there. And by just having their association, he has developed that Shraddha that we're talking about. Faith and Anasuya that we're talking about, he developed that just by association. So association is so important. Then direct perception by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, without offense. There are 10 offenses. We'll slowly know these 10 offenses once you move to other levels. But I would request everyone to at least remember certain verses. So, Punyalila Mataji, just let us just, post the verses, this 40 or 42 verses we have, no? Hare Krishna.
Yes,
Mataji,
Prabhuji. Which verses, Prabhuji? Of
there are unit 1, unit 2, and the verses are there, no? That which are supposed to be remembered. At least some of the verses can be posted
okay,
so that,
Prabhuji. For the like Bhakti Shastri verses,
yeah,
which are
yes,
there.
Bhakti
Yes,
Shastri course that, so
45
ultimately,
verses, Prabhuji.
45 verses. So these 45 verses, at least one by one, if they, at least go through that, chant once, because in one go in Bhakti Shastri, all the 45 to remember would be really difficult. So this Pratyaksha Apagamam will happen while you chant. Advancement is irrespective of previous education or qualification. That is quite clear. Now, text 2. Text 2 is Dharmyam, Susukham, and Pratyaksha Apagamam. So perfect. This is of course the perfection of religion. Then it is blissful. People who do it, they understand how practical it is. Asrad asraddhanah purusha dharmasasya parantapa aprapya mam nivartante mrityu mrityu samsara vartaman. Those who are not faithful on the path of devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of foes, but return to birth and death in this material world. So faithfulness, faith in Krishna is very, very important. In fact, the ultimate faith, the topmost faith that we say in Prahlad Maharaj, in 100% Ananya Bhakta, in no time with in any situation, his faith is absolutely firm. It doesn't dwindle at all. So to get to that stage is not that easy. Faith would only mean that I don't want anything. What NOD says, Anya Vilashita Sunyam Jnana Karmadi Anapratam Anukulyana Krishnanushilanam Bhakti Uttama. I don't have any other desire, nothing, and everything I'm doing is favorable to Krishna. That is what the devotional service is all about. And once it is done, and then of course they will go to the abode of Krishna. And who cannot do it, they will never go. So they will be in this cycle of birth and death. We don't know how many lives, how many years, 84 lakhs or more than that, we don't know. We can see Prabhupada as example of the Ananya Bhakta he is. So faithless cannot attain Krishna because faith is Abhashya Rakhive Krishna. So define faith. Simply by serving Krishna, one can achieve all perfection. Simply by serving Krishna. And again, NOD says how to serve Krishna. Rishikena Rishikesa Sevanam Bhakti Ruchate. Bhakti is nothing but using all our senses to please the sense of Krishna. And once we do that, this is called the stage of perfection. And it is not required to do anything, not required to go to any other demigod, because the example says that it is, if you want to water a plant, then it is not necessary to water on the branches, on the leaves, or anywhere. Just water it on in the root, and the entire plant will be healthy. Similarly, if we just serve Krishna, all the demigods will be satisfied, everything will be satisfied. So this is simply by serving Krishna. And how faith is created by association of devotees, that we know. And no good faith and knowledge of scriptures easily fall down through engaged in and cannot achieve highest perfection stage coming to Krishna consciousness with hidden motives. So basically there are three kind of faith. One where this is called the lowest kind of faith. A very little faith is there, and uh, hardly any knowledge of any scripture is there. So they come to Krishna consciousness, but because the faith is not firm, so They disengage in a month, 2 months, 6 months, whatever. Or if they are, let's say, Artha, for which they have come, the once the reason of being Artha is satisfied, then they go. This is the third level of faith. Second level of faith is a very firm faith, but this is good because at least the faith is very firm. However, there is one, you know, I would say one absence, and that is not very advanced in devotional scriptures. They have not read well from the parampara, from the acharyas. Like we read whatever we are learning now, purely from the purports of Prabhupada. So anyone, no one in ISKCON will tell anything from their own. It is everything which is there in the purport. So simply trying to follow by association and simplicity. This is good, but it is second level. And third level, that is the best level, is firm faith and well versed in devotional scriptures. No chance of fall down. So getting well versed, what we're actually trying now. Now you have crossed level one. So basically, scriptural reading in 18 days has happened. Now, detailed reading, detailed understanding is happening in level two. We are not running very fast. So therefore, we are even dividing the chapters into part one, part two, taking time to understand, because Prabhupada say that we must read his purport and Bhagavad Gita, scrutinizing. He uses the word scrutinizing each of his sentences so that we realize. Because ultimately, what is important is the realization. Knowledge is not going to help because our final test is at the time of death. At the time of death, the knowledge is not going to help at all. It is same. The knowledge of a bhakta would be same as the knowledge of the non-bhaktas if the realization doesn't take place. So development of that faith is the process of Krishna consciousness. So faith is a most important factor. 944 to 9.1010, this 6 verses is called Aishwarya Jnana, Krishna's Achinta Bheda Abheda relationship with the material world. So Krishna pervades, creates, and annihilates the entire cosmos through his material energy. Although Krishna is the supreme director, the material world nevertheless moves independently and Krishna thus remains neutral and detached. So, what is Achinta Bheda Abheda? That is inconceivable oneness and difference of Supreme Personal Godhead and his energies. That is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives a beautiful explanation of this Achinta Bheda Bheda concept. So, we are Dvaita as well as Advaita. How we are Dvaita? Because soul is eternal. So Atma is eternal, Paramatma is also eternal. And the soul is part and parcel of Krishna. So therefore they are different. Dvaita, there are two independent eternal entities. But it is Advaita also. Why? Because there is no difference between the quality of the soul and the quality of super soul. Quality wise they are same, quantity wise they are different. So we can say they are same also. So they are same also, they are not same also. So this is called Achinta Bheda Abheda. Beautiful definition by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Krishna pervades, creates, and annihilates. So he is he creates, he maintains, and he destroys. But he is not involved. He is not attached. Sometimes we think that it is something contradictory, but it is not. We'll understand that. This is one of the beautiful verses. Maya tatam idam sarvam jabat abhyakta murtina matsthani sarva bhutani nachaham tesu avasthitaha matsthani sarva bhutani nacha aham teshu avasthitaha maya tatam idam sarvam Jagat Abhyakta Murtina. So by me, my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Krishna is saying, everything rests upon me, but I am not in them because he's not attached. Therefore, he's not, because then he doesn't have desire. Nacham mathani bhutani pashyami yugomeshwaram bhuta brunna cha bhutastho mamata bhuta bhavanaha. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. So we see there is a difference between the two, but however, there is no difference. And yet, everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence, although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, still myself is the very source of creation. And now he's also given an example that how he is not detached. So the example is beautiful. The example is, as the mighty wind blowing everywhere always rest in the ethereal space, know that in the same manner all beings rest in me. So the example is the wind blows everywhere, but it always rests in the ethereal space. Similarly, Krishna says, he everything is in him, but he is not with anything. So this is the text 5, which is most confidence. Living entities do not rest upon Krishna. Yogam Aishwaram, that is inconceivable mystic opulence of the Lord. Everything that is created does not rest in me, implies although everything rests in him, still he is aloof and no direct concern with maintenance, etc. Why? Because the entire creation, maintenance, and everything is done by the Purushas and different Purushas. Like first Purusha is the Karanadakshaya Vishnu, second Purusha is the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, third Purusha is the Kshiradakshaya Vishnu. Because they do it, so Krishna is not directly involved. And it is through the Krishna's will that material creates the material nature does everything. Not and also not like Atlas who is tired of holding the globe. It is not that when he say that everything rests upon me, doesn't mean that he's holding anything. It is like Sutre Manigana Iba. He is there in a beautiful necklace. He's like the thread of the necklace, but the thread is not seen. It is invisible. So he's not as if he's not there. He's there, but as if he's not there. Like for example, if you're holding a sand, as long as you're holding it is there. The moment you just do like this, then the entire sand will fall. Nothing will be there. In fact, NOD also say, Ata Sri Krishna Namadi न भवेत ग्राह्यम इंद्रियैहि सेवन मुखे हि जिह्वादौ स्वयं एव स्फुरत्यदः. So how he is aloof, examples of inconceivable opulences, abhyayam, eternally everlasting. O son of Kunti, at the end of the millennium, all material manifestation enter into my nature, and at the beginning of another millennium, by me, my potency, I create them again. Whole cosmic order is under me. By my will, it is manifested again and again, and by my will, it is annihilated at the end. So, what is important is his will. Everything is created by his will, but he is not attached. He is not. O Dhananjaya, all this work cannot bind me. He is not bound. I'm I am ever detached, he is though neutral. So everything is done by different Purushas, different Vishnus, the material nature, his energies, but he is there aloof in detached and stays in the Golok Vrindavan. So Lord Krishna's relationship with the creation and destruction. So material world. So we know that he has inferior energy, which is uh, the material world. Then he has got the superior energy. Then he has got the marginal energy, who are the you know human beings and living entities. How Krishna's creation refutes the modern concept of evolution? Modern concept of evolution says that there is gradual evolution of species from the amoeba to something else, to the one cell, to two cell, to three cell, and then etc., and the last is the mammal. This is how. So we say that man has come from monkeys, but Krishna's creation totally different. All species of life are created immediately along with the universe at the beginning of creation and not one after another based on desires and past deeds of living entities. So one, so somebody can be a human now and can become a pig in the next life. Not that, you know, monkey has to come first and then after that he has to become man. In fact, Prabhupada gives a beautiful logic, and the logic is if monkey has become man, then why monkeys are still there? So how the material world is maintained if Krishna is a Parameswara is aloof? Yes, this is the way it is created. Krishna, supreme will, because based on his will it is created because it is always present. No direct involvement of the Lord. He himself does not create or destroy. And what is the basis of creation? Everything is definitely under supreme will of the Lord because he enters at the Vishnu form into the Mahat Tattva to create. So we know that Karandaksha Vishnu, from whose navel all the universes is created, and then as a Garvadaksha Vishnu, he enters into each of the universe. And then the Kshiradaksha Vishnu enters into each of the atom of the respective universe. So material nature acts by law of desire, which implies Krishna has no direct involvement but acts through the material nature. So therefore, because material nature is doing everything, so basically his agencies are doing, his energies are doing. So he's not doing. So therefore he's unattached, aloof. So creation takes place to accommodate inclinations or the desires of the various living entities. मया दक्षेण प्रकृतिः श्रूयते सचराचरं हेतुनानेन कौन्तेय जगद्विपरिवर्तते. This material nature is working under my direction. Maya adhakshena prakritihi. So this material nature is working under my direction, O son of Kunti, and it is producing all moving and unmoving beings. By its rule, this manifestation is created and annihilated again and again. Prabhupada gives a beautiful example. He says that the like you make millions of colors from the three primary colors, that is, blue, red, and yellow. Similarly, by the mix of three gunas, sattvaras and tama, material nature can create million of species. So therefore, you have got 84 lakhs of species. And also we have prakritehe kriyamanani gunakarmani sarvasaha. Then ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. Summary section C, verse 11 to 15, non-worshippers and worshippers. So fools who think Krishna is an ordinary human being possessing a temporary form become atheists and are defeated in their endeavors. And 13 to 15, definition and qualification of Mahatmas. We talked about fools, mudhas in previous chapter, right? So there are four people who do not surrender to Krishna. Who are they? Hare Krishna. One is Mudha. Second is Naradhama. Third is Hare Krishna, Maya, Apahruta Jnana, Chetasa. And fourth is Asuri Bhava, Asrita. So this relates to this verse now. Avajananti mam mudha. Mudha is coming. Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Fools deride me when I descend in the human form. They do not know my transcendental nature and my supreme dominion over all that be. We studied it many times in level one as well, that there were people in Krishna's time, in his time, who could not understand, who thought that he is a just an ordinary man, like Shishupal, like Kamsa, like all the you know Dhartarashtras. Everyone thought otherwise. Why they thought that they can even wage a war against Krishna? Who can think of that? Once somebody accepts Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Param Bhavan as a supreme personality of Godhead, Sarva Loka Maheswaram, can he or she can think of a war against Krishna? Unbelievable. Understanding these three terms. So, Janati, understanding Lord Krishna in truth leads to liberation. This is so beautiful. And all the Mayavadis and all others, non-devotees will say, oh, it can't be so easy. That you just know about Krishna and you get Krishna. And know about Krishna means what? Like Janma Karma Cha Me Divyam. Or know about Krishna that he is the uh, Sarvoloka Maheswara, he is the Bhaktaram Jagatapasam, he is the Lord of all sacrifices. Just by knowing him what he is, one gets liberated. Then there is something called Ajananti, means that do not know, ignorance of Lord Krishna, continue the cycle of birth and death, because they will not worship, they do not know what is a devotional service. Avajananti is totally misunderstanding about Krishna because they think that Krishna is a person in the sense that ordinary person. Whereas we know that he is a Purushottama, he is supreme personality of Godhead, will lead to increased bondage, so greater suffering. We've seen this. So on the left hand side, they know it, understanding Lord Krishna, they know the Navada Bhakti, so that leads to liberation. They're doing japa, they're satata kirtantamam, all this is happening and they're going to the dhama. And here the birth and death cycle is going on because they do not know what it is, like the robber that we talk about. So ignorance, so that is avidya, that leads to bija, that leads to papam and kutam, and then prarabdha, and then aprarabdha, and then suffering. So all this is happening here. And then misunderstanding in any case, all this you can see ignorance, false prestige, pride, that what we talked about, like kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, everything is happening here just because of misunderstanding. Moghasa, mogha karmano, mogha jnana, vichetasaha, Rakshasim Ashurim Chaiva Prakritim Mohinim Sritaha. Those who are thus bewildered are attracted by demonic and atheistic views. In that deluded condition, their hopes for liberation, their fruitive activities, and their culture of knowledge are all defeated. So, Mogha Sa, Mogha Karmana, Mogha Jnana. So everything is bewildered. Their jnana is bewildered, their karma is bewildered, their so because their rakshasi bhava they have, asuri bhava they have. This is the fate of duratma, fate of those who out of bewilderment disrespect Krishna's form. Who had disrespected Krishna? Vishnu. In fact, no one but the Hiranyakashipu, who in fact when Prahlad Maharaj says that what you learned from your Gurukul, from your Guru, he said that Navada Bhakti he talked about. He straight away said, what I learned is Sravanam, Kirtam, Vishnu, Smaranam. Then Hiranyakashipu, who is Vishnu? Who is, I mean, you went to uh, our Asura school and you were talking about Vishnu. This is not right. And and then he was so envious of Vishnu that he put Prahlad Maharaj into so many, deadly conditions. But with his firm faith, Ananya Bhakti, he got out of that from the fire. In fact, Holika, who was supposed to be not get burnt in fire, got burnt because of his Ananya Bhakti. So they are attracted by demonic and atheistic views, who Hiranyakashipu and hopes for liberation, fruitive activities, culture of knowledge are all defeated. Of course, Hiranyakashipu is Jaya Vijaya. Then Mahatmastu Mam Partha Daivim Prakritim Asritaha Bhajanti Ananya Manaso Gyatva Bhutadim Abhyayam. O son of Partha, those who are not deluded, the great souls, are under the protection of the divine nature. Very important. The great souls, I repeat, are under the protection of the divine nature, not material nature. His divine nature. They are fully engaged in devotional service because they know me as a supreme personality of Godhead, original and inadjustable. And he is the great Mahatma Madhavendra Puri, who is the guru of who is the guru of Ishwarapuri, who is the Paramaguru of Sri Chaitanya. In fact, this is the beautiful pastime where Krishna himself comes and gives him a pot of milk when he was. Villagers told that he is hungry. He has not got any food for so many days. In fact, he was such a great devotee and Mahatma, Madhavendra Puri. Krishna came in his dream that he had actually come to give him milk, and then he realized. So, the great souls are under the protection of the divine nature. Otherwise, what does is eating, sleeping, meeting, and defending, like the Pashu Bhava, people go on. Satatam, beautiful, this also to be remembered. Satatam kirtayanto maam, yatantascha dradaprataha, namasyantascha maam bhaktya, nityayukta upasate. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, going down before me. These great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. No better example than Prabhupada himself. And within 1 year time, just in 1 year time, he built 108 temples and ISKCON. 10 years time, of course, 108 temples across the globe. Satata Chinta he, in fact, he says that all this which we think that sleep is required, food is required, he given a lot of examples where people are just, the great devotees are just on buttermilk for, maybe, once in 4 or 5 days, then they're sleeping for just 2 hours, and they're living for 100 years. Because Satatam Kirtayanto Mam, Yatantascha Dradabrataha, Namasyantascha Mam Bhaktya Nityayukta Upasate. So, external activities of Mahatma, Satata Kirtayanto Mam, always they chant or glorify the name of Krishna. Yatantascha Dradabrata, absolutely determined, like Prahlad Maharaj, and always chanting glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. Namasyantascha Mam Bhaktya. Here, Prabhupada is in fact meeting his guru, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj. And after that, because his guru said that you young people should actually go and preach the word of Krishna to the West through the English speaking people. And thereby, he went at such an old age. What kind of determination he had. ज्ञानयज्ञेन चाप्यन्ये यजन्तो मामुपासते एकत्वेन पृथक् पृथक्त्वेन बहुधा विश्वतो मुखम्. Others who engage in sacrifice for the cultivation of knowledge worship the Supreme Lord as the one without a second, as diverse in many and in the universal form. So a little glimpse of universal form is also here said, but ultimately in the chapter 11 will detailed uh, uh, universal form will be seen. So 16 to 25, Krishna is the supreme object of worship, worshippers of the universal form and worshippers of demigods. So aham kratu, aham yajyaha, swadhaham aham, aushadham, mantroham aham, evatyam aham agnir aham hutam. But it is I who am the ritual, I the sacrifice, the offering to the ancestors, the healing herb, the transcendental chant, I am the butter and the fire and the offering. In fact, if we look at this list, then we can understand that Krishna is saying that there is nothing that he's not what he is. He's everything. He is the fire of the sacrifice. He is the sacrifice. He is the wood. He's just everything. So therefore, he we come across the verse like Vasudevam Sarvamitim Sa Mahatma Sudurlava. Bhaunam Janmanamante Jnanamam Mam Prapadyate. But it is but it is I who am the ritual, I the sacrifice, the offering to the ancestors, the healing herb, the transcendental chant, I am the butter and the fire and the offering. So beautiful. Pitahamasya jagato matadhata pitamaha vedyam pavitram omkaram ruksama yajur evacha. So I am the father of this universe. Aham bija prida pitaha. the mother, the support, and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, and the syllable Om. I am also the Ruk, the Sama, and the Ajur Vedas. There are three. The Ruk is the Sama, the Ajur is the Sama, and the Sama is the Sama Veda. So seeing everything as the manifestation of Krishna, Krishna as all the relationships in the material existence, we create different relationships with different living entities who are nothing but Krishna's marginal energy. Under the creation of Prakriti, some of them appear as our father, mother, grandsire, creator, etc. We see that all around. I mean, in our own relationships, our father, mother, everything. But what he's saying is that actually they are parts and parcel of Krishna. We have to understand that. So, father, mother, support, and grandsire, all these relationships in the material world are part and parcel of Krishna, which implies they are all Krishna. Dhata means implies creator or supporter. Purifier, the subject matter which helps us purify our constitution position is also Krishna. Omkara, the Pavitra Omkara, that is A, U, and Ma, a transcendental sound vibration in all Vedic mantras is there for Krishna. This also he will say in the opulence. In fact, this chapter 9 is again a kind of a introduction to the chapter 10 because chapter 10 is about the opulences. Now he's saying he's Omkara, he's saying he's the purifier, he is Dhata, he is father and mother. There he will also talk about his different opulences. So he is the sun, he is the moon, he is the, you know, the so many among the river, he is the Jannavi, and so many. All the Vedas, because all hymns have Omkara, therefore it is Krishna. And this is the beautiful example that Prabhupada gives that we are all in the jail, in the jail of the material world. Some are in the first class jail, that is maybe AC air conditioned jail, but it is a jail. Some are in the second class and third class. Maybe there is no AC there. Where the food is also not good. Maybe some are first class jail where five-star facilities are, but freedom is not there. So whether it is a first class jail or is a third class jail, the objective is to come out of the jail, and that is liberation. So this is the text 17. We wanted to, in fact, stop here. So I am the goal, the sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode, the refuge, and the most dear friend. I am the creation and the annihilation, the basis of everything, the resting place and the eternal seed. O Arjuna, I control heat, the rain, the drought. I am immortality, and I am also death personified. Both being and non-being are in me. So I am also death personified. We'll also see it in the Vishwarupa in chapter 11. Now a glimpse is given in chapter 9 as part of the Bhakti. Hare Krishna, I stop here. I stop share and also stop live. Hare Krishna.